And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. I'm Joe Soro coming right back at you on the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source. We would truly appreciate out there, all you people out there. Yes, so many of you are on playback. You're here. You're on Facebook. You're on YouTube. Thank you for being here, folks. Please, if you can, give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you can like, subscribe, follow, or do whatever you can to support us here at the Lakers Fast Break, that would be greatly appreciated. Shout out to my friends out at LakersBall.com. I seriously have been neglecting those guys, and I feel really, really bad. But it's been a very busy week, and the Lakers have been very busy. And I have Stone Hansen here, folks. Stone Hansen, yes, our draft expert, and of course the madman from Toronto, who is no longer in traffic, it seems, Sean Grice. Gerald will be back at some point here tonight. We're still waiting on Jamie Sweet to show up. We don't know when he's in. He's just, he's a diva. He shows up when he wants. He leaves when he wants. It's just something you're going to have to deal with. So, again, guys, we had a great evening tonight watching the LA Lakers defeat a team that's been kind of a nemesis for them the last few years in the Minnesota Timberwolves. But they do go up there, show some real grit. We'll get to the gritty guys here in a minute here. 123-111. Anthony Davis being one of the gritty guys who hurt his ankle, I believe. Still ended up scoring 38 points, had 17 rebounds, 2 blocks, and just showed just what I think was kind of like the first time we've seen AD really, really grind out something like this, but also really be effective and stay AD-like. LeBron James, would you say he had a bad game, even though he scored 18 points and had 10 rebounds?
Yes, he had a bad game.
Okay, so 18 points, 10 rebounds, played 32 minutes, which is very encouraging, folks. I will say this about Darvin Ham the last few games with LeBron. He's been managing his minutes, and the Lakers have been backing him up. So props to Darvin Ham. Props for the Lakers for managing LeBron's minutes. If LeBron can make his shots from here on out, I think we'll be fine, but sometimes that happens in the NBA. The Lakers right now are, for the first time in more than a year, over 500. Yay! So, first man up, Stone Hansen. Stone, I know you got your dog kind of lingering over there. I don't know if you're feeding him dog food or he's playing with your knees or ankles or, whatever. But we kind of were stumbling a little bit in the first half. But this is kind of the NBA these days. You get these lulls throughout the game, whether it's the first quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, whatever it is. Bottom line is no 9-point, 14-point, 15-point lead is safe in any realm. And it's almost like this game didn't even exist after halftime. The Lakers pretty much dominated from the tip. So we are looking at a game above 500 for the first time in over a year. Where do we go from here? Can this team run the table, especially now that we have Vanderbilt kind of coming up limpy and AD?
Yeah, you look at the rest of the schedule, and it's very promising in terms of who we play. We obviously play the Rockets next game, which, we had our issue last game with them, but hopefully the Lakers learn from their mistakes and take care of business in the next game. Anthony Davis is, I would assume, going to be like a questionable label. He looked like he played through it tonight. Hopefully he's able to play the next game. Vanderbilt did not look good. I would not expect him to play next game. Nonetheless, the Lakers should be winning against the Rockets, and the Rockets should be wanting to lose. Then we play the Jazz twice. Jazz have been not playing super great lately, and I think the Lakers might be able to sweep both those. Then you play the Clippers. Might be a tough game. Maybe that's when we drop. And the Suns get KD back. Depends on if Ayton's playing. Might be a questionable one. But from here on out, it's looking pretty good that the Lakers are going to stay in the play-in at the very least. I would expect them to do what they can to challenge for that 6th seed. The Warriors have somewhat of an easy schedule in terms of their matchups moving forward, so I'm not sure how many they'll drop. But the Lakers have put together a little bit of a run here with the Bulls and the Timberwolves, and they have an opportunity to extend it, at least with these next two, with the Rockets and Jazz. It was a good performance outside of, I would say, LeBron mostly. Just he had an off night, I would say. Didn't look good really on both ends, despite 18, 10, 6, a 1-2 box score. Looks really good on paper. If you watch the game, I don't think it was fully indicative of how he played. But hopefully he gets his mojo back a little bit against the Rockets and pulls out a victory there too. But I would say at the very least, the Lakers look as sure as they have throughout this season as a bet to make the play in at the very least.
Indeed. I think it's kind of interesting that we ran into a little bit of a decision-making snafu the last time we set AD for a Houston game. Now they actually have a reason to sit him, but be careful, guys. You guys are playing with fire here. If AD can play, you got to play him. Let him get rest in between games during the playoffs. Let him get rest at this point in the offseason. It looked like he was able to grind it out. Just play it. I mean, you either play or you don't. If you don't play, you risk losing this game, and then all of a sudden you become exactly what you're going to be anyways. You might as well go out again shooting. So my advice to this is, AD, if you got to call Gary Vitti, you got to call anybody on the staff there, go get your ankle fixed so that you're ready for Sunday. And then if you want to kind of at least play one side of the court to kind of combat the injury, that's fine. But we cannot sit AD. I mean, I guess we could end up winning on Sunday without him, but I don't want to chance it. I would prefer AD to play through the play like you did tonight. We all commend you, AD. You played like AD on one leg, and we're very, very, very excited about it. And Sean, I know I had you on mute there for a second, so I'm going to ask you. I had to have you on mute. I guess your headphones were doing something there. But what's your take on AD possibly not playing on Sunday, and it's looking like Vanderbilt might not be playing either?
Yeah, you know what? If push comes to shove, if they can't go, man. But hats off. They both had the call of the warrior tonight. You just push through it. Vando especially. Vando got landed on by a 7-foot man who weighs about 285 pounds and probably has about 5% fat body percentage. So he really took a bad, like Stone was saying, I think it's a bruise. For him to be that sore, he got fallen on pretty good. And man, nobody better send any negative tweets or anything in Wendy Gabriel's direction. He didn't mean to step on AD's foot. That just happens. It's part of the game. AD was a warrior tonight, Joe. He had the warrior mentality, man. It was just blood. Just blood. That's what it was. He had the look of a warrior. And that was positive. And just a shout out, okay? The unsung hero of tonight was Malik Beasley. In the first half, we could have been down close to 10 to 15 points if he doesn't make those crucial trays. He made 3 trays in a row that were very crucial, proved pivotal in the spirit of the game because the Lakers could have let it get away, and he kept them in it. Didn't play in the second half, but you know what? Dennis Schroeder was playing well. So at least we got something out of the bench tonight as well, Joe. The bench has not been playing well.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. And shout out to Rui as well. He had a plus 20 for a guy who only played 21 minutes and only scored 4 points. So that means his defense really, really helped put the clamps on Minnesota in the second half. And the Minnesota really couldn't recover. They were able to shade pretty much Cat all game, the rest of the game. I was telling Stone on playback, I didn't even know Anthony Edwards was playing until I think that ball got stolen by Schroeder. I had forgotten he had been playing in that game. So the Minnesota Timberwolves played like the Timberwolves of old. as they should against the Lakers. I think it's been one of those teams that I haven't been able to understand why they've been able to have our number. But tonight, the Lakers showed some grit. It was really, really nice to see. I'm hoping that they can continue this the rest of the way. If they run the table, it's looking very, very likely the Lakers will have a playoff spot and not have to deal with the play-in. However, reality says that AD's likely going to sit on Sunday. It looks like Vanderbilt's going to sit on Sunday, and the Lakers are going to hopefully focus on LeBron, maybe putting a little bit more effort in the game and hopefully winning the game on Sunday in AD's absence. But for tonight, we're going to celebrate tonight. The Lakers win 123-111. Stone, are we seeing and I know this is going to be, I know Z was very positive about this in the chat, and you can't deny it, guys. Again, we're here to tell the truth. We're here to show you when something is going on, whether it's negative or positive. But would you say tonight's game, Darvin Ham's coaching was enhanced a little?
It was better. It was probably the most crisp game he's ever coached as a Laker. I'd say that. The rotations were pretty good. Other than a couple spots here and there, but he's doing his best. It was good to see actually LeBron and AD staggered for the first time in what seems forever, Joe. He recently said that previously when he's had LeBron out there, he usually will give him a break after around the 7 to 9 minute mark. But he said as an adjustment, they've decided that they're only going to let him go 4 to 5 minutes now, and then allow him more latency periods to rest. So they think they're saving him in the short term, and they're saving him for the long haul in the fourth quarter. Well, it worked out tonight. His shooting was off, but that happens. Can't stagger them on Sunday because Darvin Ham has just said that AD will not be playing.
Stone, I know you're a big supporter of Malik Beasley. He only played, this is kind of like the perfect scenario for you. He only played 10 minutes, but in those 10 minutes, he did hit those threes that kept the Lakers in the game in the first half. What's the prognosis on Malik Beasley? I believe, and I know you're harsh on him, but that you have every right to, but I have a really good feeling that it's been a confidence issue with Malik Beasley. Do you think now that it's a possibility that AD might be sitting on Sunday and obviously Vanderbilt, do you see Beasley playing a big role on Sunday and helping hopefully the Lakers beat Houston?
It depends. He didn't play in the second half, so I'm wondering if that's an injury that we just didn't know about. Because he was playing very well in the first half. I don't really see a reason why they wouldn't keep going to him in the second half outside of maybe an unknown injury that we just didn't catch. But he's gonna have to, if he's healthy, have to play a fairly sized big role in the Rockets game without Vanderbilt or Anthony Davis. It means that Lonnie Walker is going to play, and Beasley's going to do what he can to keep those minutes afloat that he needs. And my diagnosis of Beasley has been the same pretty much since we got him, which is if he's shooting well, keep him in the game. If he's not hitting his shots, don't play him. Like that's what he's out there for. He's out there to space. And if he's doing a good job of that, then he should continue to play. If he's not, then I don't really see a reason to keep him out on the floor. That's pretty much been my stance the whole time. And tonight he did play well. So I would have, unless there was some sort of injury, like I said, that we didn't see, I would have played him in the second half quite a bit. And I think that the Lakers are going to, this was a well-coached game by Ham in terms of rotationally. I think he made the right rotations. I think it was a bad offensive scheming and playing. Like that's been the whole thing throughout the first 76 games. So I didn't expect it to change tonight. But offensively, tonight was pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, which is what they probably should have done during the Bulls games. And it worked for them against Towns. Didn't work so great against Gobert. Kyle Anderson. And I think that the Lakers and Ham specifically needs to do a better job of, offensively game planning and scheming, especially against who exactly it is they're playing and knowing the opposition personnel a little bit better. But in terms of rotationally, in that regard, I think Ham did a pretty good job and did what he was supposed to do.
Folks, the world has Woj and Shams. We have Stone Hansen. So with that, great analysis there, Stone. I don't think I could have said any better. And our esteemed leader, Gerald, has showed up. I don't know what kind of family minivan he's in right now, but Gerald, how you doing out there? I know you're taking care of some family stuff there, but so we've discussed some of the details of what's currently happened tonight, which is very good, and what may be happening here in a couple days, Sunday, early game Sunday, against the Houston Rockets. So what's your assessment on the Lakers' chances winning on Sunday? And of course, we'll get back to tonight's game, obviously, but what's your assessment of Sunday's game if AD and Vanderbilt are not playing?
Well, it's not just AD and Vanderbilt. We saw Wenyen get hurt during the game. This was a really rough game for the Lakers, but very well played on the defensive end. The defense has been talked about as far as being the key for the Lakers this past month, and it really shone through in that third quarter. This was by far and away, Joe and Stone and Sean, the best third quarter of the season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Without a doubt. I know the MagicMan with about a minute left. He was saying that already. And I was like, no, don't say that yet. Don't say that yet. But yeah, it turned out to be the case. We're starting to see with this game some things that maybe Darvin Ham is learning. Like, for instance, staggering LeBron and AD the way he did that in the first half. He actually made sure one of them was on the floor at all times, which is something we've been talking about ad nauseum, especially the way how bad the bench played on Wednesday. So I'm glad to see that. The defense, again, just really toned it out. And to finish your question, Joe, you're right. There's a very real possibility, seeing how the season's gone, that we could have especially no AD and no Vando for Sunday's game. That means that the Lakers have to focus on transition, and their shooting has to be there. If they don't get if they don't even get 35, 38% from three and don't get 20 fast break points, it could be a rough game on Sunday and take everything away from the fabulous victory they had tonight.
I agree. This time, guys, you cannot have any self-inflicted wounds. Lakers have to win this game. I don't care if they're playing 5 guys on Sunday. They have to win this game. They have maybe a smidge of a 1-game loss between now and then. But if you want to guarantee that 6 seed, you have to win the next 4 games. Is it 4 games? Or 5? 5 games. So, hey, look, guys, you're making it work. You've won 5 of the last 6 games. You can do this. You guys can do this. You guys have been showing the grit. You guys are Darvin Ham is starting to get something going here. Don't ruin that momentum. Get it going. Lakers won pretty much kind of running away here in the second half once they got a hold of it. So, and that's with LeBron not playing a good game. So hopefully we can get a good game from LeBron on Sunday should AD and Vanderbilt not play. And let's go after this, guys. Because
can I say one thing though? Shout out to Fried Chicken. You've always said that about Brown, but you were always putting Lonnie Walker in his place. Lonnie Walker didn't play a second of the game. Troy Brown only played 9 minutes. It was Malik Beasley's game. Again, when you've got those inconsistent players, as a coach, you have to recognize which one is playing well and play that player and sit the other 2 down. It's just that simple. And that's what I've been trying to tell you, Fried Chicken, and everybody out there for quite some time, is those inconsistent players, you got to make sure which ones are playing well and play those at the right time.
Great point, Gerald.
So one stat needs to be pointed out right now, okay? So when they've been healthy, LeBron, AD, Vando, D'Lo are 5-0 together. 5-0. When they've all been on the floor healthy, they're 5-0. So if you're moving forward now and looking at if you're going to bring back LeBron and you're going to bring back AD, then that means you're going to have to bring back D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt, because they've already shown themselves that they are glue guys. They fit, and they both complement AD and LeBron.
I agree.
Joe, you said one of your biggest pet peeves at the beginning of the year was you said that the Lakers at the time only had 2 starting caliber players. Now they have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jared Vanderbilt. I'm good with rolling with that starting 5.
You have everything in that starting 5, and you're right. The deadline brought this team starters that are players that will complement LeBron and AD, because they all have special skills and role players. Because we're watching the NBA in 2023 the way we are, everything's a second by second analysis. One guy misses 2 shots in a row, he sucks. Another guy makes 2 shots, he's the best player of all time. And it's one of those things where we're not letting this thing kind of go the way it's supposed to go. We're not letting it develop. We're not letting it kind of flow. Well, the NBA has shown me this year that there just is no consistency through a 4-quarter game. You just very rarely see end-to-end games. And we still can't get a 4th quarter where we have a 20-point lead and we sit our guys for an entire quarter. That is the only thing that has not happened this year from my memory. The only game that I missed, I don't think that happened in it, right? So what are we gonna have to go with here? We're gonna have to go with what's working. You got young guys that are coming up and doing their thing, and I think D'Angelo Russell, even though he was a -2 tonight, he had 10 assists, and he seemed to have really, really good control of the game, especially in the 4th quarter. And he was running really, really good, effective pick and rolls with AD, with Winion. I think it was great game for not having big numbers. So props to D'Angelo Russell on that game as well. And, overall, again, winning is all that matters, guys. And I want to welcome LakerTom. LakerTom, I don't know where you've been vacationing here, but we're happy to see you here. Gerald's kind of being, I don't know, me, I guess sometimes I'm kind of all over the place. And I'm being Gerald, and Stone's doing his thing, and of course Sean's doing his thing. But LakerTom, how did you enjoy the game tonight in your big screen TV and your comfortable chair?
It's nice to watch the game when you don't really have to worry too much. That 3rd quarter turnaround was just great, and it was kind of funny because you know how the karma goes in these games. And I'm watching a game. My wife's out with a hike with the dog. She comes in right at the point when Anthony Davis has just turned his ankle. And I'm going, the season's over, honey. We
said the same thing on playback, Tom. We said the same
and she
thing.
says, I'm going to go drop the dog off. She just immediately leaves because she knows that the temperature was not right. But man, I couldn't believe it. So then I had it on hold. I came back, and right after the commercial, it was like AD was just back playing, and everything was the same. And all of a sudden, everything turned around. I thought it was great. I do have to say that for all of those people who keep criticizing Anthony Davis for being, Mr. Street Clothes and all of these other demeaning phrases that they try to associate with him, he really's gutted out the last 2 games. And has played spectacularly. And Rudy Gobert, give him credit. Rudy was terrific in the first half. And when they built that lead, there were times when you could see that this team had great potential. And it's a shame that injuries are going to probably cost them, a good deal of their potential there, because Naz Reid was one hell of a player for them. He was averaging 18 points a game, and and he gave them another lift in the size category. This is where we really miss Mo Bamba being out. He's $10 million that we've got invested in backup center, and a stretch 5 center. So, but hey, the starters played great. At the first half, all of the starters were negative except I think one guy was 0, maybe Reeves was 0. And then the second half, they all moved back to positive. So it's great to see that starting lineup work. It's great to see all 5 of them be able to score in double digits. I know Vando only had 8 last game, but he came through with 12 this game, and he made a couple of good plays. It's just a unique mix of all of the right things that you need to have collectively in order to create a championship caliber lineup. And the big, and Dennis was plus 17 game high, played just terrific. It made some just fabulous plays and efforts, what a deal for a minimum salary guy. He's played extremely well. And Rui had a great game. I thought Rui was exceptional this game, really played well. And the size that he adds and gives us, I thought his defense was excellent on Towns at times. And I like that idea of him on Towns and being able to let AD just be the roamer. Vando's is a tough matchup for Vando because the guys he's covering basically are going to take him inside, and he's more of a perimeter defender than interior defender. But great win for the Lakers because they had to win this game, and now they are really just one loss from taking over 6th place from the Warriors. Each team has 5 games to go, and we have the tiebreaker. They've got one more win and we've got one more loss than they do. So it's a game spread there. They're trailing right now, I think, slightly to the Spurs.
Yeah, they're up 3 at the half. The Warriors are over the Spurs.
Of course, nobody thinks the Spurs are going to beat the Warriors at home.
But it would be interesting because now you're going to have both teams with the same amount of losses, which is all that matters. I don't care if they're a couple of games ahead on the win column. Yeah. But I still say if the Lakers win the next 5 games, they'll get that 6th seed.
Yeah, they will. The only way that we couldn't is if the Warriors won all 5 of their games.
That is true. That is true. But I don't see that happening. And right now, we're going to have to cross our fingers and hope that the Lakers can get by on Sunday without AD because I think he might not play. But Jamie Sweet, do you like your little thingy there? Is it helping you?
I'm solid, baby.
Enlighten us on your analysis on what happened tonight. I'm assuming you saw all 4 quarters of the game.
I did see all 4 quarters of the game, and they were great for the most part. Minnesota came out looking like they wanted to put this game to bed early, and one of the things that I've admired all season long with Russ, without Russ, Russell Westbrook on the team, this whole season, last season, I was pissed after games a lot because that team quit. Yep. That team quit a lot. They'd get down, they'd run up against some adversity, they'd fold like a deck of cards. And, it was galling. It was galling because you're paid a lot of money to play a game. Even the guy who's making the least amount of money is getting paid pretty well to play a game, and to not show up for the full game was galling. This team does not have that problem for the most part. Every once in a while, they'll lay an egg, and we call them out on it, as is our prerogative. But I just like how this team stuck with it and has been sticking with it all season. It's the defining trait of this team, I feel like, other than scoring in the paint. Not quitting, scoring in the paint. Welcome to your 2023 Laker identity. And the defense is improving over time. I think having Reeves and D'Lo as the starting guards gives you a lot of length in that backcourt and enough speed. They won't be the quickest backcourt by any stretch of the imagination, but as long as it's not an all-out sprint to one end of the floor or the other, it kind of doesn't matter. And you're not going to stay in front of jitterbug guards anyway. That's what they do. They get around their guy. And that's why you have help defense in the paint. And that's why having Anthony Davis healthy is so clutch and key and critical. It's nice to see the Lakers win a game in semi-dominant fashion with LeBron having an off game. And Russell not having a great game. He had a basic D'Lo game. I think 14, 15 points. I want to say, I can't remember exactly. And DAngelos is one of those guys. You look at the box score and you go, "Oh, that's what he did." Like, it doesn't really register in my mind his contributions. Like, he's just so very smooth. Just kind of goes about his business. Doesn't he'll yell or do a little something after he makes a shot, and then he kind of just gets back to it, which I also appreciate, and I think is a big step up from when he was here last time as a Laker. And I like this team. I like that our second unit is a little bit smaller. I just never saw enough of Bamba to understand the hype, and as a Laker, I didn't understand the hype. I kind of think I would like for us to have another big, but I don't feel like we're missing it. And I feel like the front office feels the same way because they've auditioned several woodpile, centers out by the woodpile, just waiting for someone to come gather them up and bring them inside the house. And nobody's taking wood home from the woodpile. Tristan Thompson.
Nobody's been worth the luxury tax.
Nobody's worth triple their
amounts, dude. It's not the salary; it's the salary plus the luxury tax.
I think it's that, and also there's not enough time to fit them in, or they don't fit in organically with what we're trying to do defensively. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure the front office has a myriad of reasons why they've chosen that route. But in my mind, I feel like that's and him. Even when we had Thomas Bryant and Wenyen Gabriel and AD, he still liked to go small. He still liked to not play. He never played Thomas Bryant and AD together.
About can't defend. They're bigs that don't know how to defend. That's
sure, but I mean, Vanderbilt's sneaky big. He's undersized, but he plays bigger than his measurements. He plays stronger than he looks. He plays taller than he looks, and he plays hard. And that gives you an edge in most professional sports because most guys just like to show up. And he doesn't. He likes to show up and leave his mark, and those are two different types of players. So, I love the team that we have right now. This was, in my mind, the must-win game of the road trip, because of the seeding and everything about where how many games are left. Because I think even though people are saying AD will play the second game of a back-to-back coming up here after that ankle, I doubt it. And I'm with you, Joe. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play on Sunday against Houston because they're either going to fly out tonight in a blizzard or they're going to get grounded and fly out early in the morning. Sean, maybe you can illuminate us as to what the blizzard conditions are up around the northern part of the continent. From what it sounded like, listening to both Stu Lance and Michael Thompson in the car, neither thought they were getting out tonight. Both thought that the team would be flying out first thing in the morning. So in a way that might help. He can actually get treatment on his.
Have the Rockets been playing all of their players?
I mean, does it matter?
No, it matters a lot.
Well, it does, but not as much.
And they're playing centers, and we're going to be in trouble.
Well, we're going to be in trouble one way or another if this team thinks this is an easy win game, which is what I fear more.
There aren't any easy win games anymore because
there never was.
Can beat anybody in this league.
There never was any easy win games. It's the NBA. It's pro sports. The other team just has to show up, and the other team go, we got this, and suddenly you're in a dogfight that you didn't want or expect, and this LakerTom has done this way too many times this season for me to say no. Now they've learned their lesson. This is the time. This is the time they'll really show up.
They did win tonight.
They've already used 8 lives.
They did win tonight. They did win tonight in the battle of who's going to get the first pick. So they did win tonight. So maybe they'll feel good about themselves tonight and kind of rest on their laurels by Sunday, and the Lakers whoop them.
Well, they can't survive the play-in tournament. Is what my
pro players don't tank, man. Everybody talks about tanking. That's a front office theory. There's not a guy wired in the NBA who would be like, yeah, let's tank so we get this other guy on the team. Not a single one. There's no one who's still in the NBA who thinks that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys who quit in the fourth quarter because they just like to get the game over with because they're already lost.
Yeah, that's a different time
to go home.
That's a different thing. Yeah, but I mean, even Nick learned from that. Those are the mistakes of young players.
Well, injuries, the new rules about the that the bottom 4 teams all have the same odds for the top 4 picks.
Right.
That and the play-in tournament basically have created parity in the league. And it's still going to apply during the league. You look at the Lakers are like the 9th pick at 22-1.
Yep.
9th pick at 22 to 25-1.
That's not bad odds, really.
No, I know. I think $100 you can get $2,500, man. And it's a good chance. I think it's better than 25-1.
The whole plane being delayed isn't really a big deal to me, Jamie. They're playing the
Agreed.
game at 8:00 at night. To me, it's not really a big deal. Yeah.
I like Sacramento though. That's who I want to play first.
We'll see. Yeah, we've got to get in the top 6 to even have a discussion about that.
Well, all we have to do is have one less loss than the Warriors, and we win.
If we play the Rockets, and as we sort of expect, maybe Davis and Vando don't play that game, and we're short on bigs, I don't know how you guys would feel, but personally, I think it would be Darvin Ham's best bet to start LeBron at center and play him at center and have Gabriel as the backup, because when you talk about who he's going up against, which is Sengun, he's one of the slowest. Like, I know people love Sengun for his offense, but defensively he's extremely slow-footed. And having LeBron be able to stretch him out and be more of a facilitator if he needs to be, or just barrel his way inside, because Sengun is also just not a shot blocker. He's kind of a defensive liability everywhere on the floor. So if I were the Lakers personally, and I don't know if Ham is creative enough to go this route, but I would play or start LeBron at center.
I'd play Rui next to him if I did it too, because you need some size, man. That's our big problem. When AD goes out, this team is not big. You know?
I mean, honestly, really would actually be the backup center. I maybe feel like, you know what I mean? Like, that's who they'd have to trot out there. You'd start Lonnie. You'd maybe even start Troy Brown. You're just really thin on the bench at that point. You're going to see, you might see Max Christie.
You know, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that Anthony Davis. I think that LeBron James and Anthony Davis both really seriously, sincerely believe that they can win a championship this year. They like this. They like this roster that's been.
Well, you might not be far off, Tom, because word from our one of our panelists, BDA Pink, has said that AD has said that he's playing Sunday.
Yeah,
so
I think
his respect meter.
He wants this. Yeah. He didn't even think about going. I can't believe when he came back. When I turned the TV back on, from the remote, and we came back from commercial, and AD is just walking around.
So there's gonna be a meme going around in the next couple of days about Chris Finch, because he just got through talking about Jared Vanderbilt, and the Timberwolves Twitter is basically saying he's got a lot of regrets on his face talking about watching him leave.
Well,
was that any doubt though? Did we not?
Here's the thing. No, hold on. Wait. Hold
8
on.
minutes to go in each of the.
I want to be heard on this, because we need to get it out there. After the trades, that first game, everybody was all in love with them. It was the love boat, the love connection. But then when we played the Blazers on that back-to-back, and we got smoke showed by them, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, maybe Jared Vanderbilt isn't that guy. I mean, 2 teams have traded him. What do you know what you're talking about? Just sit down. Go in the corner and sit down. You don't know what you're watching. The guy, like Stone had said previously, I agree. I think he's an all-NBA Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I really do. I think under 25, I'd have to go through it, but I'm going to say he's a top 10 defender under 25 in the NBA.
He deserves a starting role. He deserves a starting role on the Lakers. There's no doubt about that, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, he's so versatile, Tom. You can put him on Cat. You could put him on Anthony Edwards. You could potentially,
and he's been making that corner three fairly well.
He's 4 out of 5 his last corner three. So he's showing a prowess now where he actually has learned skills. So he knows how to shoot a corner three. So please, Pelinka, get him extended.
Yes.
Get him extended.
When you put him in the starting lineup with LeBron and Reeves and D'Lo and AD, you got 5 guys basically who can distribute the ball. 5 guys who will pass really well. 5 guys who aren't going to necessarily just hog the ball.
The backspin he puts on a bounce pass is top notch. It's top shelf.
There were some beautiful passes that D'Lo made tonight. I mean, just beautiful passes.
D'Lo's always been a fantastic passer since high school. The issue with D'Lo that consistently shows up is the processing, which is off and on. It's not a consistent thing with him. He has slow processing at times, and he'll see an excellent pass, but by the time he throws it, the window is closed a little bit. So he has like one of the best touch on passes I've ever evaluated coming into the league, and it's kept throughout his entire career. But the processing is not consistently up to speed, and that's his turnover issue. It usually stems from that.
That's interesting.
Well, the Lakers again win 123-111 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, going above 500 for the first time in, I believe, 14 months. Jamie Sweet, I know you've been rattling something over there or putting something together over there. What's LakerTom obviously is always going to be the man of positiveness. Sean's going to. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what it is. So at this point, AD has already made the announcement that he's going to be playing on Sunday.
All right.
So what, as far as morale is concerned, that's another thing that I wanted to point out with not only AD, but Vanderbilt coming in and looking like his legs weren't moving. Okay. Yeah. You play hurt. For all those athletes out there that don't play hurt, watch what AD and Vanderbilt did tonight, and you'll see why fans will love you. The reason why non-football fans and non-Packer fans love Brett Favre so much is they watched him literally get hit so hard he was spitting blood out, and he still plays.
Right.
So I know that's probably not a good example to use right now, but I'm trying to make a point here in that AD not only was visibly limping, but he was dominant playing hurt. Yeah. So you can take Charles Barkley, you can take his street clothes and put it, you know where? At this point, AD is coming out a completely different man. And if this is the AD we're going to get, folks, get ready. Get ready. If they should get that 6th seed and face a team that's for the first time in the playoffs since 2006, things could get very, very interesting. Yeah. So that's kind of where I stand on that. I'm already happy now that I know that he's playing on Sunday. Now I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to enjoy my night tonight because I got some stuff going on, and I'm glad the game was early tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight, and I can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah, we're watching a classic right now in women's basketball. This game is going to go down to the wire. Caitlin Clark already has 31 points and 8 assists. Just unreal performance by her again.
Yeah, she's a must watch. Quick question, just for whoever knows it off the top of their head, but do we have the tiebreaker if we were to finish with the same record as the Warriors? I rely on you guys.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That cool. The Warriors and the Pelicans are the only 2 teams we owe tiebreakers on. But
ironically, and Utah's TBD.
Yeah, 2. Yes, yeah, okay. 2 more games. Yeah,
2 more games.
LakerTom, you're muted, by the way. I think if you were trying to say something,
he was. Well, anyway,
ahead,
we
Tom.
Let me unhook. Oh, there you go. Go ahead, Tom. Tom, you want to speak?
No, that's fine.
Oh, you're good? Okay. So So we're already looking forward to Houston. Are we looking ahead beyond Houston here? Do you think the Lakers are focused on Houston here on Sunday? I'm going to take a guess that they are.
Yeah,
they have to be. They have to be laser focused. They have to be laser focused.
They definitely. I mean, just the way that AD said, "Hell yeah, I'm playing Sunday." There's got to be something from the last meeting that they had where they're like, "No, I ain't sitting this time out.
We're not gonna punk out. We're not gonna.
If we're supposed to give him a choice of playing in this back-to-back or in the last back-to-back or the other one.
Yeah,
we go down swinging.
Got to go down swinging.
If we're not going to punk out, and this is how they're going to go the rest of the way, we're going to find out in the next 5 games.
They got to win out.
We're going to win out. We have to win out. We win out, it's a guaranteed 6 seed. It could be 5 too if the Clippers keep losing. And by the way, we do play the Clippers one more time. Now, I'm not trying to go beyond Houston right now. I had some other things I wanted to say, and then I stopped myself. I want this game on Sunday, and then I'll think about the following game after that. Exactly. In the meantime, I want to commend the Lakers. They won 123-111 tonight. Going into, could you say Minnesota's a hostile environment? I mean, even in 2004,
it wasn't the first half.
They're a hot team that was playing well.
Even in 2004, when they made their run to the Western Conference Finals, they were never.
You can't call that crowd hostile. It's called Minnesota nice, not Minnesota mean.
Yeah. Well, is their hockey team wild?
Because after they made the trade for Gobert, they were sort of like the laughing stock of the league for a while.
It took that team a long time to find
that's going to work. And look what you gave up for the guy. And
honestly,
the matter is now it's really worked.
Yeah, it has worked.
If they hadn't lost Naz Reid, they were one of the teams that everybody was saying all of a sudden they could be a top 4 team in the West next year.
They might be a top 4 team in the West this year.
The one thing I think that was most impressive when I look back on this game is 2 things. One, what a contradiction, huh? The one thing was 2 things. Anyway, the first thing is on offense, we really milked Anthony Davis down the stretch. One of the things that pisses me off about coaches is when you've got something that's working and you don't just run it into the ground. I've never understood that. I mean, I don't care whether you're playing at the gym on Saturday or whether you're playing in the finals of the NBA. When you got something that works, you don't let the other guy off of the hook. You just keep punishing him. And we did that with AD on that same play like 5 or 6 or 7 times in a row. And I love that. And then the other thing was defensively, we were on a string in that third quarter. We really shut them down completely. They could not do anything except one and done shots. And that was the type of thing that, when we came back with Anthony Davis and we're winning like 7 out of 10 games without LeBron James for the first time in 4 years, there was one reason why we were able to do that, and it was because of our defense. Our offense didn't change. We were 21st then, we're 21st now. What changed was the defense went from being like 12th or 13th down to 2nd or 1st. So the ability of Ham to, at least at this point in time, after all of the injuries, to get the starting lineup just picture perfect, just the 5 guys that just to go together. I mean, every one of us, I think, has been rooting for that lineup for a whole year, and finally we get to see it and it's working. And now if we can get Schroeder to get the second unit and Ham to stop doing hockey shifts and, substituting whole lineups. I mean, he's got 2 ball handlers, Reeves and D'Lo. One of them's got to be in the game along with one of the 2 superstars at all times. That means 2 starters are in the game at all times, at least 2 starters. You never have a situation where you got 4 bench guys or 5 bench guys in there. That's just asking for trouble. And it's the opposite of what you want to do as a coach, where you want to develop consistency and patterns and roles for players. So you don't want to be shifting around all of the time.
And we're pretty sure we lead the league in the most different starting lineups throughout the season. Which some of it's injury; he can't help that.
Yeah.
But another portion of it is just lack of ability.
Well, it's just like giving Lonnie a shot and putting Rui on the bench was the stupid move in the middle of a closing stretch.
You should know what you have in players throughout practices, and you shouldn't have to be able to try and figure and find out what that is during games. You should already have a feel for that. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that this team is relatively young playing together. Yeah. I think
and we have a rookie coach.
We have a rookie coach. Sometimes we're inconsiderate. The fact that we've had I know a few weeks ago, the most different starting lineups in the NBA. A lot of that has to do with injuries. But, I
give him credit, though. And like you said earlier, Joe, this team never quits. That goes to the coach, in my opinion.
They have shown in the last few weeks that they are not quitting now versus when they were quitting a year ago, like Jamie said. Yep. And the reason why they were quitting last year was there was an infection in that locker room. And when players quit sometimes, it's not because they're spineless. It's just because they're like, F this whole situation.
It's contagious. Contagious.
Yes.
Infectious is a better word.
And anyone who denied the fact that the previous regime, I'll just label it that, wasn't a cancer to this team, then you're delusional. You're delusional, and this team has been so much better without that issue. Even in the few games that they've dropped, a lot of it is self-inflicted. It wasn't due to a player completely destroying the essence of the team. So, Gerald, you have finally come back to your ship. The captain is here.
What's up?
Yes.
Everything okay, Gerald?
Yes. You have been in how many positions today on the show and on playback? You've been in like 4 different spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
you must have amazing technology following you.
I started the day out getting an oil change with the MagicMan in the morning, and absolutely run around all around town. Dealing with some family issues, but glad to be here now. Got a chance to check it out with you guys. I will tell you, I did have a few minutes of my day to spend at the MGM Grand Garden and Casino in their convention center because they are hosting one of the major collectible card events, sport card events anywhere. And that is the Mint Collective. So if you are in town and you have cards you want graded or are looking to buy or sell some major sports cards, go to the MGM this weekend. And actually, as a member of the press, I've been covering for Cosmos and for the break. I will tell you that I got a nice handy dandy MVP package here, a VIP package here. So I'm opening up for the first time, looking to see what I got. Got some good stuff here from PSA. I mean, if you want stuff graded, you can go ahead there. PSA's there, eBay's there, ready to sell your stuff. PSA's there, ready to grade your stuff. Topps is there. Got some major booths. Great. There's going to be a lot of sports athletes there. I think Peyton Manning. I heard some other athletes are going to be there as well. So, yeah. And a nice gift box right here presented by eBay from the Mint Collective. So, yeah, it's a little unboxing there for people out there. So, yeah, if you get a chance, I will be there tomorrow for a couple hours because I did commit some time to them. I will go ahead. If you see me wearing some Lakers gear, please come by and say hi. So, look at this. Look at this.
Did they give you a T-shirt? Right, what is that?
They gave me a specialty encased Mint Collective MGM Grand card. You never know. Could be valuable. I don't know if it's going to be as valuable. Well, there you go. That could be even more valuable. I don't know if it will be as valuable as my as I told Stone and you guys before, the ticket I have from the Scoot versus Wembanyama game. I might be only one of the few on the planet that has it. So I'm going to get that cased and graded if those guys pop, and that will probably be hopefully worth some cash. So down the line, but yeah, looking really nice, like a little card case here, and yeah, all that good stuff. So big shout out to the Mint Collective. If you see me tomorrow at the MGM Grand, give me a holler, say hi, tell us how much you like the show, and tell us how much you hate Joe Soro.
Yeah, boy. Sean loves me though.
I do.
That's all that matters.
I do.
I don't care. That's all that matters to me.
I do. If Joe, it's not like Joe needs help if he's in a dark alley, but I'm always on Joe's dark alley team.
You want to hear something funny about the dark alley? A particular instance of my life where I was in a dark alley. So one year for Halloween, I was Wolverine, and
Aren't you
ordered
that every year.
I can be when I grow this.
I figured,
but this was when I was just. I did the whole hair thing. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about resurrecting it at some point in the next few years, but we'll talk about that later. But anyways, so I ordered the claws on eBay, and I didn't know. I just knew I didn't want the plastic stuff. So when I ordered them, and at the time I didn't notice really what material it was. I just thought it was something that wasn't plastic. So I get the order. Package comes. I open them, and these things look like brass knuckles with claws, like exactly like a brass knuckle. Okay, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna have to keep myself. If I see a cop walking, going by, I'm gonna have to kind of cover him or something, right, just in case. But then I go to a party on a Friday before Halloween, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking in an alley, like a back alley to an apartment complex. This is in college. And I go, man, if somebody wanted to mug me right now, they would be making the biggest mistake of their life. Because all I had to do is stick it right in the throat. It's over. So yeah, I've
also a healthy first-degree manslaughter charge there, but
I ordered those things for Halloween. I was wearing the outfit. If somebody come and attack me, as long as he's dead, there's only one story I can tell. So there's only one story that'll listen. That's just what it is.
Jamie, let's not get into it.
Yeah, you're right, Sean.
Yeah,
you're right.
Let's not get into it.
Let's just move it right along here.
We can go into those guys who sell the shurikens to the 12-year-olds.
I know you want to get back to Stone and Jamie and Laker-Tom and Sean. Just real quick, did you guys mention that on Twitter that AD has mentioned he will play on Sunday?
We have.
Yes.
And when it was previously mentioned that Darvin Ham said that he would sit on Sunday, and then he retorted that I will not sit on Sunday.
And I want to thank AD. I've always loved AD. I'll always love AD, but I really, really want to thank AD for telling Darvin Ham to go sit down.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Really? You still want to fit these guys, you freaking chump? Really? Enough already with this sitting down stuff. This is showtime. This is prime time now. You want a chance at going deep in the playoffs? You want to be an unprecedented anomaly in the NBA and going deep and maybe making a run? What the hell are you talking about? You want to sit this guy on Sunday? You didn't learn your lesson the last time, Darvin Ham? You just had a really good game, you coach, and you keep reverting back to Dave Roberts mode. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Go ahead, Tom.
Fighting words.
Go ahead, Tom. You were doing your Bill Clinton I want to talk moment. Go ahead.
No, I really wasn't. I was actually just grinning about your comments because I agree with you 100% that you understand the load management thing, and there's no doubt that the Lakers are going to be doing a lot more load management of LeBron James for the rest of the season, and probably with Anthony Davis too. They're not going to risk anything long term for either one of them because they figure they have 2 more years after this year that they have them under contract, and hopefully, that's all gonna maybe that this. I think first off, everybody realizes on this team right now how freaking lucky they are to be in the position that they're in. Parity has given them 12 lives, not 20 lives, maybe as a cat. They probably used 15 of them already. Hopefully they got 5 lives left for the next 5 games, and that's why I feel it's so critical that they get in. They get into the number 6 seed because I don't think they can take the pressure of two more of having to go through the play-in tournament. And the play-in tournament is going to be brutal. I mean, those teams are going to be hungry and it's just going to be a massacre. Teams that come out of there are going to be just dead tired and worn out. And the Lakers are almost to that point now. They need that week off that you get by not being in the play-in tournament to let LeBron and AD recover and just to actually have some practices with the team. And they will know for sure who they're going to play instead of being in the tournament and not knowing whether they're going to be the 7 or the 8 and having to then make a decision and then just risking the finality of a winner go home game, 2 of them in a row maybe, and add that to the pressure of all of the things that we've gone through this season. We have an opportunity after winning tonight to go ahead and get that number 6 seed. And we have the advantage. I mean, we're 1 loss ahead. We're 1 loss behind the Clippers, who lost tonight, and the Warriors. The Clippers
they're tied right now. They're tied right now, 74-74 with 4:36 left.
And we just got some distance on the Thunder too.
Right. So we're in a perfect position because of the tiebreaker and the Warriors all we have to do is tie them for the record.
Well, it wasn't
that seed.
It wasn't just the fact that he played on that ankle. He dominated.
19 points after.
He dominated after he got hurt.
Yeah. And we didn't go away from it. We didn't go away and just switch to another play. We went back to that same play every single time.
But
Till
also
they
the
stopped
adjustments
it, yeah.
made. Sean, and I know Stone covered this as well. The adjustments made by Ham, something we've talked about in the second half. In that third quarter, the adjustments defensively, especially against Cat and the pick and roll, because Conley, Cat, and Gobert were eating them up in that first half, especially on that pick and roll and those little short jumpers that Conley was making, and of course Cat from the outside. The Lakers really neutered that in that third quarter, and I really think that was the difference in the game. Stone, do you agree? Disagree?
No, yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I think that defensively is generally what's buoying us in these games, and offensively, we're just gonna have to take it for what it is and hope that our talent wins out most games, because there's generally not a definitive offensive scheme or plan headed into games. It's kind of, hoping the talent carries us through. And it's, been that way the past couple of games and has the chance to keep doing that over the next few as well. So that's generally what carries us, which also gives me a little bit of concern for what happens in the playoffs. But that's another podcast for another day. But I think that, the Lakers running pick and roll was big for us tonight, but running pick and roll against Towns was big for us in specific. And I think that this is where Ham has issues, is that obviously we took advantage of that when it's against McDaniels, when it's against Gobert, when it's against Anderson. We had a little bit more issues. We had 16 turnovers tonight, which we sort of glossed over a little bit, but I mean, that's kind of a lot of turnovers for a game. We won. I'm not saying that, that we didn't deserve to win or anything, but that was an issue. And a big part of that was running pick and rolls against the wrong personnel. And I think that Ham needs to, he really has a tough understanding. It seems defensively he's come a ways quite a bit in defensively and honing in on certain personnel and knowing what to do and when to hedge and things like that. Offensively, I think he really struggles in terms of knowing strengths and abilities of other defenders that we're playing against. And I think that is something that really holds us back in terms of potential.
Which pick and roll specifically, Stone, did you not like that Ham was using?
I mean, not in terms of the players that we were using to run the pick and roll, because D'Lo and AD were running the majority, and I think that that's what you need to do. But who we're running it against is Anderson got steals a couple of times. Gobert covered it well a couple of times. And it's difficult to do it when you're doing it against really high-level pick and roll defenders. When it's Towns, you're doing it, you're getting it over and over again. And I think that Ham has this tendency to, if it works against one person, continue to do it regardless of who the defense is. And I think that that's something that he just needs to work on getting better at.
Jamie, I know Jamie wanted to.
Jamie, you've been waiting for a while. What's your take on? I guess
I mean, listen, I think when we first welcomed Ham to the head coaching position of the Los Angeles Lakers this last summer, I think everybody who was on that show, most of us are here, and I'm sure the viewers at home, I'm sure a lot of us expected that there would be growing pains. And as long as somebody, he's a rookie coach, you can talk about all the wonderful experience he's had as an assistant and as a player and all that, but it's different. You're not the guy. He's the guy now, and he's learning on the job. You have to. To be a head coach of the NBA, there's no recipe except learning on the job. If he gets another coaching job after this one, he'll have a lot to learn. Mike Brown's an excellent example of somebody who was a head coach for another team, went back to being an assistant, and is now the best possible head coaching version of himself that I think one can imagine. What he's done with the Kings has been fantastic in terms of just motivation. I'm not talking about X's and O's, motivation. And I think that that's been Ham's biggest strength, is he came into the job with a high degree of motivational skills. His motivation of the team, making them just forget who they were, getting Russell Westbrook to somehow come off the bench, even though it didn't work great. Everybody bought into it and it gave it a shot and didn't just quit. And the fiber of the team that doesn't quit, that doesn't give in if they hit adversity early in the first half. I think a lot of that comes back to the coach. So I expect in the playoffs he's going to get out coached at least one game, a series, minimum of one game a series. Somebody's going to see that he's like Stone was saying, that he's not going to pick up on. He's not going to force his players or advise his players to move the ball till you find a more favorable pick and roll attack point. That's something that's like a high level coaching skill that, for example, Steve Kerr is excellent at, right? Steve Kerr is excellent at getting the Golden State Warriors to seek out the weakest defender and then put him in a pick and roll with Draymond Green and Steph Curry or some combination thereof. And the Warriors, now that's part of their culture. They don't need Steve Kerr telling them every time out, hey, don't forget, they know, oh, this is how we win. And so that's something I just kind of expect to have happen. And I expect it to happen next season too. And for a couple of seasons until he's had, 3 or 4 years as a coach where he kind of can see how do I get the players to buy into what has to happen? And I don't know. It's one of those things where you kind of wish you had one of those seats as a season ticket holder where you were just near enough to kind of hear what was going inside the huddle. Because I'd be very curious to hear how he is in the huddle versus, how we see him talking in interviews and, things of that nature. Because I get the sense that he's very thoughtful, but not necessarily innovative in his strategy. And I felt the same way about Frank Vogel. I thought that if he was innovative on any side of the floor, it was on the defensive end. And even that, he just really, played the best defensive players that he had available and put them in successful positions. So I think that incredibly, they're both I find them to both be very similar coaches, except for I find Darvin Ham to be more motivational, whereas Frank Vogel was kind of that guy who's in the next cubicle over at your office where you're like, well, he's here today. That's nice. Glad you showed up to work. And that's it's just his personality. His personality wasn't one that made you want to go to the mat for him. He was just a nice guy. But you weren't so I think against some of the elite coaches in the league, you're going to see Darvin Ham struggle. Especially if he does a hockey rotation like he did in the last game, which was really inexplicable. I know he said, I would do it again. And there's nothing a coach can say that pisses me off more than I saw that it didn't work. We lost the game, but you know what? You put me in that situation again and I'll do it the same way. And I'm like, so you don't learn. Is that
10,000 people died, but I'm going to do it the same way.
Right. We're invading Sicily again with a tin can and a bazooka. We're doing it. Like, I don't like. There's this. Like, I get it. I get being defensive and like not wanting to just like let the media walk all over you and run your narrative. LeBron is weirdly passive aggressive in interviews as well that way, but like. That's the most inane thing you can say pretty much ever. I understand it didn't work. I understand that it was not a good idea, and yet I shall do it more and often. I just don't understand
because you asked that question.
Right, exactly. Like, and maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe they're just like, I'm gonna give you a crap.
You don't want Dennis to play more minutes? Just watch.
Right.
Yeah, a good psychologist, a good coach that's got good psychology skills can really bait Darvin Ham at that point, don't you think?
I agree.
But that's a problem that not only Darvin Ham might have, but that's happened all the time. I always remember when Jalen Rose was talking to Sam Mitchell during the 81-point game by Kobe. He was telling Sam Mitchell, like, dude, we should double this guy. And Sam Mitchell would not. He's like, just shut up and just listen to what I'm saying. I'm the coach. Coaches can be egotistical to the point where
that tells me
sabotage their own team. Yeah,
that's true too. But that tells me a lot more about Jalen Rose than it tells me about Sam Mitchell.
Well, that's true too. But I just wanted to thank everyone that's been watching and listening here through Facebook, Twitter. Twitch and YouTube. This is the first time that I can remember where 6 of us were on here all at the same time. So I want to thank you all for being here. You guys all had great insight, great analysis. You guys are the best. I am looking forward to doing more of these and wrangling all the good discussions here. Gerald, we're glad you're here. I'm sorry about your little delay and back and forth. Again, we're hoping everything's good on your end. The Lakers.
Congratulations to the Iowa Hawkeyes that just defeated the South Carolina Gamecocks and are headed to the championship game.
Oh, hey, you got to give them. You got to give them. Look, hey, they were undefeated until tonight. This is a big win for them. I'm going to be cheering for the Hawkeyes here to win it all in the next game. So good for them. Good for the girls.
Caitlin Clark finishes 41 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds.
So Caitlin Curry, we're going to have to start calling her Caitlin Curry.
Definitely the Steph Curry of
the maybe bringing something here to the WNBA that might be bringing some eyeballs to it. So good for her and good for them. We're hoping it all works out for them. But again, thank you all for being here. Panelists, the viewers. Lakers win tonight in Minnesota, 123-111. We're looking forward to Sunday's game against the Houston Rockets. It's a 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time game. So, guys, for those of you who I know it's not
join us on playback.
Join us on playback. It'll be around dinner time on Sunday, but try to get in and eat and watch if you can.
Speaking of playback, upside swings. What's going on with playback and upside swings?
We will be live tomorrow on playback. If you're on playback, we'll be watching the UConn Miami game for sure. Possibly the SDSU game beforehand. Not quite sure yet. If you want updates on that, you can follow at Upside Swings on Twitter or at report_court. And either one of those accounts will have the link to those games.
And if you're at the Mint Collective on Saturday and you see me out there wearing the Lakers gear, come by and say hi. Tell us.
Make sure you have a pie in hand too.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. Yeah. But anyways, for Laker Tom, Stone Hansen, Jamie Sweet, Gerald Glassford, and the Magic Man, I am Ox1947 /Sinblades /Joe Soro / if you're on Facebook, Johnny Blade. We thank you for being here tonight. We'll see you on Sunday, and we're out.